This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, here we are. Yeah, being cheered on by my guest. Here we are on May 17th, 2022. And I have a return guest from last year who I had on from the Sorority House Massacre. But we're not going to talk about that today because she's also a musician and she's sent some bandmates my way and she has some music to talk about. So I will get to ask her about Sorority House Massacre, the musical, which I'm sure they'll do,
I
Folks,
hope so. How could they resist?
folks, welcoming back, here is Angela O'Neill. How do you do, Angela?
Thank you so much for having me on. It is a pleasure to be back in the Python's nest. And what fun it is. And congratulations on your many, many interviews last year. And you're off to, as we were just talking about, just an amazing start this year. So kudos to you.
You're number 80 this year, so
I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, and I've done over 600 as of now. I think your
That
number
blows my mind.
608 or something like that I've done now. So yeah, the only problem is with the job I'm working now, it's hard to schedule when you're on call, so that makes things a tad difficult. But
yeah,
but I'm
congratulations on the new job. That's amazing. I think that's an amazing thing for you. So congrats on that.
Well, I needed something where I could actually pay my bills and pay my rent without taking it out of my savings, which previous jobs, I don't know how a lot of these jobs expect people to live.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. So I got a great gig going at the hospital right now. So awesome.
Yay.
So, yeah. But nonetheless, speaking of hospitals, Sorority House Massacre, a lot of people got sent there to the morgue.
That's right. That's right. We did it right. So everybody knows, Greg and I had a conversation a little bit ago when we had an anniversary to a horror movie that I was in many years ago called Sorority House Massacre. It's a fine Roger Corman production that I was in all those many years ago. And it's, for whatever reason, kind of been one that people still enjoy to this day. So Greg was kind enough to interview me on the anniversary. I can't remember which anniversary it was. Of that movie. That was last year, I think. And so thank you for having had me for that. All during my acting gigs, I actually have always done music. And in these last few years, I've been concentrating more on the music. I have a little big band, which is an octet we call the Outrageous Eight. And we had our trumpet player on also a couple months ago, right, Greg?
Who did we have on? Now we had
Paul Literal.
Yep, yeah. Paul Literal and his son Miles, who of course are related to Lorelei McBroom, who I've had on here.
Yes.
Yep. So
and also Ron and Brent on, and Ron is the alto player in the Outrageous Eight.
Yep, I had those two on as well. Yeah. Talking about your house.
Yeah, exactly. We had a good time on that one. So those people all comprise the bigger group, which is the Outrageous Eight. And I think about 2 years ago, this time that year, so 2021 actually, so last year, we were not able to go into a studio because we wanted to record a new record, and because of COVID restrictions, we were not able to go into any studio or even rehearse inside. So we decided to take the bull by the horns, and we recorded in the backyard of the singer's house, and managed to put together a record that we have aptly named Light at the End of the Tunnel. And tonight, actually, we're premiering the video of our single, which is called New York Minute. And it's a tribute to New York City and all the difficulties that it has endured, that beautiful city, during the course of this pandemic. So that is premiering tonight on our YouTube channel. And then the record drops this coming Saturday. So we're just really excited. I'm excited to have gotten it done. It's been really challenging during COVID to given the shutdowns, and then also, things have just been kind of unpredictable. It's hard to set a schedule for things, as I'm sure you know. Yeah, so that's
Oh
been a little
yeah.
challenging. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Especially with the new job I have. I've had one Sunday I had to reschedule 3 interviews because I got called in.
Yeah.
But I don't dare say no because I want them to keep calling me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
always a trade-off.
yeah, but I got all 3 interviews. I got them rescheduled and done. So there you go.
Good. Well, I'm
So
glad people are flexible. That always helps. I mean, we all have learned, I think, as part of this process with COVID that we do have to be more flexible, and you just gotta, it's kind of like jazz. You gotta you gotta just all think, okay, it's not going to get done today. We'll get it done next week.
yeah, yeah. So that works out that way, and
Yeah.
so yeah. So you guys have a new album out. How is there? You call yourselves the Outrageous Eight. I'm assuming there's 80 of you in the band, right?
Yes, but you know what? I will tell you, I have people call me all the time as an aside, and I know you'll enjoy this. And they'll call me up on the phone and they'll be like, so I'm wondering if I could call you and hire, I want a trio. And I go, well, it's kind of in the name. There's 8 people in the band, and they're all, I know, but maybe a quartet. I'm like, no, it's an octet. That's why it's the Outrageous Eight. So you're one of the few people who got the message with the Outrageous Eight that it is in fact 8 members. Yes, it's rhythm section, so piano, drums, and bass, and a trumpet, trombone, and 3 saxes. So that comprises the 8 players.
Okay. So you've got how many of you how many of you have I had on the show? I've had you, I've had Paul, I've had Brent, and
Ron.
I have had Ron. So I had half of you.
Well, Brent actually is not the bass player in our band. But yes, you've had 3 of us. Yep. 3 out of 8. That's pretty good numbers.
I should have all 8 of you on here sometimes since my Zoom is updated.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, let's set a time for that. I would love it.
Yeah, yeah, and then I could hear all the rumors,
Yeah. All the band gossip. Exactly.
all the band gossip. Yeah,
Maybe we can come on and tell you how the CD release party, which is this coming Saturday, maybe we can give you a little report on how that went
yeah.
after it happens,
I
something
could
like
hear
that.
I could hear about you guys getting smashed.
Exactly. That
So
would be great.
we dropped Angela off on the at the wrong yard.
That's right. That's right. We lost our way. No, I hope not. Yeah, we actually always have a really good time in this band. We started the band in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and 5, I think, or 6 out of the 8 players are all foundation members. That means they were at the very first rehearsal that we did in 2015, and they are still with the band. Through a pandemic, we Zoomed, we rehearse every Wednesday night. So every Wednesday night, we Zoomed when we were completely shut down. And we recorded stuff remotely during the pandemic, which meant that everybody played their part. Like we would send a chart, right? Because everything's charted in our band. We'd send a chart to each player. Each player would record their performance into their cell phone. And then we would separate the audio from the video and mix them separately. Michael Rosen, who's the drummer in the band, would mix it, and we would come up with a video remotely. I mean, it was really complex process, but we had some fun, and we still continue to. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't think you guys would have fun with people you didn't like.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So, back then, was it the Outrageous Five or the Outrageous Four?
Nope. It's always been 8. That's the magic number.
The
Well, I'm
magic
9,
number.
I guess.
You're 9?
Right? If you count the singers.
Yeah, I would suppose. I always counted you in with the 8.
No. I'm 9. So yes, it's 8 is the musicians. I'm not sure why, but that seems to be kind of the standard with groups. Like if it's a trio, it's usually like bass and drums. It's 3 players and doesn't really count the singer as in the number, which is interesting.
Hmm. Had me fooled. I always thought the singer was included.
No,
So, do you guys ever compete with the Hateful Eight?
no,
You don't
we're
compete
the
with them?
we're the loving 8. We don't have any competition with. We got no time for hate with our 8.
Quentin Tarantino directed the Hateful Eight. I thought the Hateful Eight and the Outrageous Eight would, do a.
Have a fight like a UFC thing, like a
There you go.
yeah. I like it. I like it. Maybe one day.
There you go. Well,
Oh my
Jennifer Jason
goodness.
Leigh did play the guitar in that film, so there you go. Maybe
Oh,
she's auditioning. Excuse me.
maybe something for the future for us to look into.
There you go. There you go. So
I love
you
it.
you don't act anymore, huh?
I pretty much just do the music and it takes up a lot of my time. I think that in addition to doing the Outrageous 8, I'm the band leader on this group, and I'm also the singer. So that's a fair amount of time and commitment. But another side effect of us being shut down for so long, myself and the other members of the band started putting together these other projects that you've interviewed us for. So we're putting together Paul Literal's solo record, which is called Legacy, and we put together a straight ahead jazz record that was all originals with Ron and Brent. And we're in the process of putting together with one of the other singers in the band, Katherine Hopkins, Brazilian record. So we have a bunch of other projects going on, and it just seems to be kind of have a life of its own. And so, yeah, that's pretty much, we've just been doing the music part of it.
So, what is the influence for the band? Like, is there any bands out there that you guys get your sound from, or anything like that?
That's a really good question. I think that we're lucky enough to have 2 really prolific arrangers in the band. And so it doesn't always work the same for every group, but for a group like this, we're like right on that edge between, I would say, big band and jazz. So we have some jazz influences and we have some big band influences. But overall, our trombone player, his name is Harry Smallenberg, which we coined the phrase having been Smallenberged. And what that is Harry is an amazing trombone player. And he also does probably more than half of our original arrangements. And that means that he tuned, like, as an example, did a really amazing arrangement of Beginning to See the Light, which is a American songbook standard. And you would just never know until I start singing that is the song that it is. He always just does these really outlandish arrangements that are very difficult to sing and very difficult to play. And so we call that being Stallenberg. And so I would say, he has some jazz influences that kind of influence him. And then our keyboard player is Rocky Davis, and he does a fair amount of original arrangements too. This coming Saturday, we'll be doing Lady as a Tramp, which is a Rodgers and Hart song. That was taken originally from a Broadway play. We're going to be doing You Made Me Love You, which he's done also an original arrangement to. And their arrangements sound really different from each other, which is, we're so lucky to have 2 such talented arrangers playing in the group as well. It's an embarrassment of riches, I must say. And Rocky is in general, I would say sort of a more big band influenced voicings when he does the arrangements. And so there's a little less dissonance, there's a little bit more major chords. I don't even know if I can really align him with another big band arranger. But it's just a big voicing. Everybody always says, I can't believe there's only 8 instruments. I mean, it really sounds like a big band. So just, we're really lucky we have that more intimate somewhat dissonant and tempo challenged, kind of sort of arranging on the one side, and on the other side we have more of a big band sound. So my influences are certainly, we've redone a couple of really amazing Billie Holiday tunes. I love Rosemary Clooney. I love the way she sings. I love her phrasing. I love Frank Sinatra. Who doesn't? He's just such a,
Eminem.
yes. I actually No, I actually love Eminem. I can't rap, but if I did
Oh,
rap, I would like to rap
darn!
like
I
Eminem.
want to see you rap.
Wish I could. I don't have the talent. I'll leave that to Eminem and people who are more talented than myself.
You mentioned Frank Sinatra and Rosemary Clooney. Who else? Billie Holiday.
Yeah, I would say Billie Holiday. I listen to a lot of Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, I've done a tribute on her with
Yeah,
Jeffrey
she sang
Mark.
she sang everything. I mean, she made so many records. She worked with so many different people. I'm actually listening to a Frank Sinatra record called It Might As Well Be Swing right now, which is just an amazing record that he made with Count Basie. The arrangements are just killer. If you haven't listened to that record, you really should. We did a record a couple of years ago that was also another tribute to Frank Sinatra. When he owned the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas, he did a record that was recorded live at the Sands, and it's called Live at the Sands. And we recorded a live concert called Live at the Mix in Pasadena, in California. And that record is actually on the website on outrageous8.com to be downloaded, because it was a little tribute to him. We recorded like talking to the audience and like the live aspect of making a record. So yeah, those are, I think, some of our inspiration is the time, when it was, there were a lot of players in Los Angeles. Certainly there was a lot of orchestration behind a lot of the music, and that time in history, I think, is probably what inspires us the most. Yeah, Billie Holiday, Ella, all those folks, amazing work.
When I think of jazz and blues, immediately what comes to mind to me is the Blues Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
love
yeah.
that movie, and I've had 3 of the band on the show here.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, that's very cool.
I've had Murphy Dunn, the keyboardist. I've
Uh-huh.
had Willie Hall, the drummer, and I've had Blue Lou, the trombone.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, did the horns and the sax, and
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
Blue Lou. Yep. So
Yep.
I've had all 3 of them on, and that movie does a massive job at just complimenting, celebrating not just blues music but blues musicians.
For sure.
Oh yeah, love that movie. And another one that now comes to mind to me more recently is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story
Hmm.
with John C. Riley.
Mm-hmm. I haven't
Yep.
seen that.
Well, what it is, it's totally fictional, but John C. Riley plays Dewey Cox, and
Okay.
it starts in 1946 and goes up to, basically it takes every rockumentary you see, like whether it be Walk the Line, Ray, or what have you, they all
Mm-hmm.
seem to have similar themes going throughout them.
Right.
And Walk Hard exploits every one of them.
Oh, I see. I see. It's a satire.
It is a satire,
Got it. Yeah.
where they all have something tragedy that happens in the past that affect them.
Right. Yeah. There's always drug addiction involved. Always.
Well, with Dewey Cox, it's he grew up, uh his brother was the musician in the family,
Mm-hmm.
where he was kind of the one that wasn't going to amount to anything.
Gotcha.
And they go out one day, and I just remember the quote. You got to see this movie, but
I will.
the quote where the brother Nate, I had the brother Nate on the show actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had him on the show. But he says, let's go out and play. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen today. They go out and they're like picking up rattlesnakes, outrunning bulls, and all this outrageous because of satire. And
Yeah.
then they go to the barn, and the one thing that they shouldn't do is have a machete fight.
Right.
So there they are, and the machetes have the covers on them. But at one point, the thing slides off, and you just Dewey Cox, as a boy, goes like this. Doesn't show it, just shows the machete drop, and his brother falls to the ground, and you see the bottom part still standing up, and his brother's down on the ground like
Oh
this,
no. Oh
and
no.
and he goes, "Dewey, I'm half." Says, "I'm cut up really bad, so you have to promise to be double great for the both of us."
Oh my gosh.
And
So
he
that's
took
the tragedy that
that's a
inspires him for a lifetime.
oh yeah, and when he runs off to give notification,
Hmm.
the pants that are just standing there fall over, and the kid goes, "Oh shit!"
Oh my God.
The next
Wowzers.
the next shot has you got Raymond Barry plays the father,
Hmm.
and oh, I can't remember the name of the one that plays the mother. She I can't remember. She's funny, but the doctor comes out of the room. He goes, "I wasn't able to attach the top half of Nate to the bottom half of Nate." And Barry goes, "Speak English, doctor." He goes, "I'm sorry. He didn't make it." And they get into hysterics and whatnot. And anyway, Raymond Barry turns to young Dewey Cox and goes, "This is all your fault, Dewey Cox." And the mom says, "It wasn't his fault." And he goes, "He cut him in half with a machete." He turns to him, he goes, "You're not half the boy Nate was. You're not even half the boy the top half of Nate was before you cut him in half."
Oh my gosh.
That's the level of humor. And Nate goes like this. He goes, "Mom, I can't smell anymore." He goes, "You gone smell blind."
Oh my goodness.
And then it cuts to the when Dewey's in high school. You got all these high school kids, and then you got John C. Riley turned around, dressed in his band outfit for the school recital as John C. Riley. We're supposed to
Right.
buy that he's a 14-year-old kid. Of
Right. Right. Right.
course, they're making fun of that, and his mom says, "I can't believe you learned to play the guitar and not even having a sense of smell." And he goes, "That's all right, Ma. I learned to play by ear." They go through the whole thing of divorce and drug addiction and fights with the band. You name it. It
Right.
happens
Right.
in
Right.
this movie.
They've got it all.
So I recommend watch Dewey Cox,
Yep.
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, because it's got a lot of music in it.
Hmm.
It's got a lot of blues music in it as well. He even takes a dabble in punk rock. He takes a
Wow.
dabble. He tries to do Bob Dylan, which makes no sense.
Right.
He goes into everything, and you'll recognize a lot of it from other rockumentaries.
Right. 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 Yeah.
And it just, I won't tell you how it ends, but perfect.
Got it.
Perfect. There is one spot though I will mention where he's down on his luck and Nate appears to him like in a ghost form.
Hmm.
And then Nate transforms into Jonah Hill.
Oh wow.
He goes, "This is what I would have looked like if somebody hadn't, I don't know, murdered me with a machete."
Right. Right.
He said, "You know what it's like to be a ghost?" He says, "I can't do anything with a ghost. I can't even masturbate. Ever tried to masturbate with a ghost hand? Nothing." That's the level of humor
Oh wow. They
that
just
comes
go right there.
That's Jonah Hill. I don't know whether that was improvised, but it was hilarious. So that is what I recommend you check that out. But it's also I got the soundtrack as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but they do have your blues. They have everything in this.
Got it.
You even get Elvis, Buddy Holly, and you get the Big Bopper.
Yeah.
They're all there,
Yeah.
played by people that really are. They have the ideal look, but you know it's not them.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
Frankie Muniz does not look like Buddy Holly, but boy, they try.
Right. Got it.
So there is your that and the Blues Brother play great double feature if you want some good music.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, that would be a great double feature for sure.
There you go. That's my recommendation.
All right.
Now we gotta get back
Noted.
to the Outrageous Eight.
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for the Outrageous Eight movie where you guys do all the stuff.
Right, exactly. It could be like a Beatles movie. We go, the Outrageous Eight go on an adventure to Vegas
There
or
you go.
whatever. Yeah. We
Mm-hmm.
actually did a couple of years ago, actually. We actually did a road trip up to the Napa Valley and it had plenty hijinks. We still tell stories. So there's definitely a movie there. There's no question. When we get out, that's a maybe one day. We don't know. We could do something like that. Yep. But for the moment, we just did a music video, like I said, which is premiering tonight on the YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Angela Neal Outrageous 8 Records, because all of the artists, we all share that YouTube channel. So tonight, it's just the tribute that we're doing tonight to New York. And this single is off the record. So the record that drops this weekend. So all of it is, it's just amazing. We're just so lucky to have such a great group of individuals. As you know, Paul Litteral is a very lauded trumpet player. A lot of the people in the band have toured with all kinds, like you said, from blues to jazz to big band to rock and roll. We got it all in terms of what people's backgrounds are. And that really makes it fun. Because we really have a well-rounded sound, I think. So yeah, we're really excited about this week. It's been a long time coming. Everybody in the band has been really dedicated, and of course we had a recent shutdown. January, February, March was also a bunch of the venues in Los Angeles closed down for kind of the second round or third or whatever round we're on of COVID. And so we're just actually, this is our first show back since the most recent shutdown. So we're really excited about that. And we're so grateful that for everybody who supports our music. I know a lot of people really like big band these days. So we're really, really happy and grateful to everyone for supporting us.
Talk about the process of making a music video.
Okay. So, I think that the components are dependent on what your concept is.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I chose this song, and it goes back like 2 years. I chose this song, and I went to Rocky Davis and I said, I am so, there were so many impactful visual moments as we first shut down March 13th, 2020. And
Mm-hmm.
if you remember, March and April, it was New York City that was just taking a beating. There were pictures of just gurneys with people in the outbreak outfits. Nobody really knew anything about the virus. They didn't know how to treat it. They didn't know if healthcare workers were in danger. And then shortly thereafter, just because New York is so compact and there was so little ability to not reinfect each other, I just have all these visuals that motivated me. I remember watching a news show and it was just shots of refrigerator trucks filled with bodies in New York City. These are things I'll never forget watching that footage. And so I've always loved this movie, and part of what I think I learned from the process of going through COVID, but not just the shutdown, but just for everybody, is like life goes by really fast. It happens in a New York minute. And I always loved that song. I went to Rocky and I said, do you think we could do an arrangement? I know it's not American Songbook. It's a Don Henley song from the late 70s, early 80s that happens to have lyrics that talk about how fast life can go, how quickly it all just goes. And so when I started this music video, it was with much the same intent. I wanted to do a tribute to not just New York City, but also the insight that I think we all got during this process, that is an insight with or without COVID, which is such a period of time. And it is just it's a blink of an eye. We're here and gone. And I lost two friends to COVID. One of them chose not to be vaccinated. And in 4 or 5 days, I was on location in Charlotte, and I texted her on the Sunday, and on the Wednesday, she was dead. And I dedicated my choice of this song to my friend Mary Iannickery, who was one of my best friends for a decade. And she just died like that in 4 days. And so really, when I started to try to come up with visuals, for me, it was about, what do I value? Those moments of family and friends, and the love that we give to each other and the love that we share with the world was so important in the visuals that we were working on for this. So, I first recorded myself singing the tune, so that, because you kind of need that. You kind of need the person singing to see the lips and feel the lyrics. I think it helps a lot to have that. And then we used some footage of the band playing the tune. Find the first time we premiered that song, which was about 6 months ago. And then we cut into that some, I think, really beautiful visuals of New York City, and kind of what that experience is, as what the lyrics in that tune talk about. So it took us about 4 months. We were twice for about 3 hours each session. And it took us that long to cut the video together, because when you're talking about something that's very deep like that and has a lot of feeling involved, you don't want to, you want to honor it. It's been such a long process developing this song, doing the arrangement, choosing it, kind of choosing the visuals and stuff like that. And so you want to make sure that you don't kind of misrepresent what you're trying to say. And so that's how we developed the video. It had to do with why we chose that song, the arrangement that we ended up with. Paul Litteral is very featured on the track of this song, as is Sam Morgan, our musical director. And so that's the process of a music video prep. Is it kind of is like, why did you choose the song in the first place? Kind of drives the visuals, basically.
Well, talk about going on stage. You guys are going to be performing soon, huh?
This coming Saturday.
Okay.
There's a venue here in Los Angeles in Studio City, really famous, world famous jazz club called Feinstein's at Vitello's. And so it's Vitello's restaurant in Studio City, and Michael Feinstein is the gentleman who runs that place. And there's a Feinstein's in San Francisco, and there's a Feinstein's in New York. So this is the Los Angeles base of Feinstein's. And we're so lucky to work with them. They're a beautiful venue, really delicious Italian food. And so this Saturday at 1 o'clock, we'll be doing what we call our big band brunch. And we've been rehearsing for about 6 weeks now to come up with a set list that is kind of a mix of record, tunes from the record, and also things that we're developing for the future. I'll have 2 guest singers who also sang on the record with me. Al Timms will be there, and Jackie Gibson will be there, and they both recorded songs on the record. So it'll be really fun to have the whole family together for the CD release party as well.
Talk about performing and the energy going up on stage.
Okay. It's funny because I went to UCLA's theater program, and I've always had like the music and performing thing kind of as one. Like I played the oboe for 20 years, so I played classical music for 20 years before I ever did any other music. And at the same time, I've always done, like 14 or 15 years old, I started doing theater in Santa Rosa, California. I did a vaudeville. That was my very first show, and so for me, I guess maybe when I was a little kid, I used to have be scared of going on stage. But I think the way I feel about it now for my own self, I can't really speak for anyone else, but for my own self, I feel like going on stages, it's like going out. That's how it feels for me. It's a conversation, with people. I come out, I look around, I think, you know what? Everybody kind of needs a little break from life and to have a little bit of entertainment and have some fun. And when I go up on stage, I look around and I look at the audience and I think, first of all, I'm filled with gratitude for those people who have come. In Los Angeles, it's a deal to come out to a venue. It's like, no matter where you're from, even if you live around the corner, it takes you 45 minutes to get there. So for me, I look around, I think how grateful I am. I look at one group of people. I know those are my friends who've gone to great trouble to be there. And particularly like this weekend, there are a lot of people who have been around since the band began and came to our first rehearsals and our very first performances. And so I look around and I feel like, oh, it's playtime. That's what I think. That's the energy for me when I come out on stage. I joke around, and if something messes up, I say, "Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. A couple of shows ago, so I can't wear a lot of makeup because when I perform, I sweat. I don't know about anybody else, but I really sweat. So I try to fall. One of the things about singers are supposed to, look glamorous or whatever. How do you look glamorous when you've like sweated through your shirt 3 times already? So at one point I was singing something, my lash started to do that thing where it was like here on my face.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I said, hey everybody, I guess I'll take the other one off, and got such a laugh, because just don't take myself seriously that I would be like freaking out because something like that happens. Yes, for some people that'd be cataclysmic, but frankly, it's happening, right? So you can't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the energy when I go on stage when I'm doing something live is really about it's playtime. It's time to have fun. It's time for people to get a little escape maybe from their lives and what's happening, whatever troubles we all have. This is a moment where you can really just sit back and relax and have a laugh and enjoy some music. And everybody in the band, I think, feels the same way. I talk on stage, I introduce everybody, and I feel like at the end of the day, the audience really knows the players, and that enhances and I think helps the show. So yeah, I would say overall, the tone of any show that I do is it's playtime. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Well, I think this is great, and I think it's awesome. I feel bad you lost two friends to COVID, but I'm glad you're still carrying on and doing some great music with the band. And a lot of this too, and I think of your band, I'm kind of thinking a lot of Huey Lewis and the News in there too.
Hmm. Yeah, I can feel that. Look, I like I say, I was a classical player for many years, and for
Mm-hmm.
me, jazz and big band are the rock and roll of classical.
Mm-hmm.
It's charted music that just is a little more groovy than classical. And I loved Huey Lewis. I think Huey Lewis was from San Francisco. I grew up listening to him. Great singer, great groove to all of his music. So yeah, I dig rock and roll. And our drummer actually tours a lot with a lot of rock and roll bands. And so I love it. And for me, there are very few kinds of music that I don't really enjoy. I love it all. I really do. So
Well, they got with Huey Lewis News, they got a great horn arrangement too
yeah, horn
that I
section.
noticed.
They sure do.
Yep, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yep. But anyway, you don't play any instruments yourself?
Like I say, I play the oboe. for 20 years. So yes, I played the oboe for 20 years. I still have a flute. I still play now and again.
Well, then you could be the outrageous 9. I just solved your problem.
Oh my God, you totally did. What would I do without you?
There you
So
go.
yeah, so I play
Put the
some
check
wind
in the
instruments.
mail, please. Or PayPal me.
Yep. And so but the guys in the band play way better than I do. And I kind of started converting from player to singer probably kind of in college time. And
Mhm.
so I've been singing ever since then. Rock and roll or big band, whatever it is, I've been pretty much singing since then. And I always say, it's awesome because wherever I am, my instrument's there. I mean, you can't imagine when you're commuting in LA is the best time in the world to do vocal exercises because you're sitting in stop traffic and you have a CD player or a player right there in the car. It's like, wow, how convenient. You don't need a reed to play anything, or you don't need your instrument. It's right here. So that's pretty great about having voice as your instrument. Technically, I guess it really is an instrument. So maybe I should make it the outrageous 9.
There you go. I like the fact that you're still in touch with me, and I love the fact that you send. Please always tag me when you have stuff. I don't mind if you share stuff on my page. Go
Oh, okay.
ahead. I
Oh,
have
cool.
no
Love it.
problem. Some people don't like it. Me, I don't mind. You're my
Okay.
guest. Go ahead and share away on my
Oh,
page. I
fun.
don't mind it.
Okay.
I've shared stuff as well from your
Hmm.
page, but I tell people don't ever hesitate, because if it doesn't come up on my feed, then I'm not aware of it. So
Gotcha.
I don't mind if somebody tags me,
Okay.
especially if they're a guest. So you guys feel free to tag me in any post or any announcements or um, upcoming shows. Tag it
Okay.
right on my page so other people can see it, especially in the Los Angeles area.
I love it. I will do that actually. I am reticent, like you say, to tag people because sometimes I've gotten really angry messages from people about, don't tag me on your things. So I've gotten less prone to do it now, but I will actually. I'll tag you so that you know, because it's hard to keep track of what everybody's up to. So that's an easy way to kind
You
of
know
remind
what?
people.
Here's my thing. Number one, if somebody don't want to read something, don't read it,
Right. Right.
But I have no problem, because I do a show here, and my show is not all about me.
Mm-hmm.
People don't listen for me. I'm the host. They want to hear my guest. I want my guest to not only promote on my show and do an interview on my show, I want them to feel at ease to be able to post on my Facebook page and say,
Right.
yeah, I have no problem. I told another person that was um, doing charity work, promoting stuff about the Ukraine situation. I said,
Oh
post it on
yeah.
my page. I
That's
have no
great.
problem. I
Yeah.
have no problem with that. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
You won't get
Yeah.
an
Well,
angry
that's good.
message out of me.
Well, I know everybody appreciates you, Greg, and you really do an amazing thing here with your show. There's so many people who you interview are so fascinating, and have so many, great stories to tell. And the entertainment industry and the music industry are rife with crazy stories of the stuff that goes down when you're trying to put shows together, or you're on the road, or whatever. So I love your show, and I know everybody else does too. We really appreciate you, so I hope you know that.
I love the fact you guys appreciate me. But yeah, feel free, share on my page. You won't get an angry private message from me on that.
Okay.
I
Good to
have,
know.
you know what? It's an outlet. Put it right on there. I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Anything else you want to plug and promote before we close off?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like I say, I'm really glad you're still doing these shows. Congratulations on your new job. I know you were struggling with your other job, and I remember seeing your posts that it was just becoming intolerable for you. So I'm really glad that you found something new, and it sounds like it's actually working great. With the interviews and you still being able to do the job and stuff like that. We're just happy here in Los Angeles that you're still doing this show and you're able to. And I know we have lots more projects coming up. We'd love to be a part of your show in the future. So thank you so much. Anybody wants to know anything about the band or about the records that we're doing in the future, it's really simple. It's just Outrageous8 with no space. And everything that we're doing is on there, and the YouTube information, all that's all on the page. So outrageous8.com takes you to everything that we're doing these days. And we really appreciate you, Greg. You're a great guy, and we're just lucky to have run into you. Thanks to Lorelei, and we love keeping it in the family. Yes, Miles is Lorelei and Paul's son, and everybody is kind of interconnected, and we're really happy to be part of that family.
What a domino effect. I interviewed Dolly Reed Martin from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah.
That led to Marcia McBroom, which led to Durga McBroom and Lorelei McBroom. And of course, Apache Ramos from The Warrior, who is related.
Yes.
And of course, that trickled down to you guys.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, the domino effect, and I'm always open to having anybody on. Whether I just had a guest reach out to me the other night who I never heard of him. Never heard of him. He reached out. He said he's an independent filmmaker and he was in post-production of his film and he wanted to promote it. I said absolutely. I knew
that's
nothing.
Really cool.
Knew nothing about this guy.
Yeah.
But we ended up doing an interview that went nearly 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Well, he must have had a lot of good stories to tell about making his movie.
Yep. And he really appreciated it too. So I like to try to keep that door open for anybody to come on here, and because I feel blessed to be able to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know who I am and where I come from.
Right.
I'm not Joe Rogan. Not I'll probably never be that successful. But you know what? I don't have to be. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. So, and I think that's important.
And we love it, and and it's obvious that you do, and that you enjoy the stories and the process, and how amazing this, this empire of of hundreds of interviews that you've done, and your interest and kind of enthusiasm for the arts is palpable. I know that everybody who comes on here feels really appreciated, and I know that we appreciate you. And what fun it is to be able to work in entertainment, work in the music industry, and have somebody like you to come and be able to talk about our projects. I mean, it's an amazing thing.
Well, I have a great idea. Sometime in the near future, let's get all 9 of you on here. Now that I got my Zoom updated,
yeah,
I think I can do that now.
Love the idea. I really do. So yes, let's make a plan. Let's do an Outrageous 9 Zoom. It'll be crazy and fun, and the guys can tell you stories about us doing our stuff, and we got all kinds of good stories when everybody's together. So that'll be really fun. Something to look forward to.
I think that would be a lot of fun. So
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You got any charities or anything that you want to plug on here?
We actually are kind of in the process of trying to develop actually a profitable a charitable arm, I should say, a nonprofit arm of kind of Outrageous8, and we're kind of in the process of trying to put that together. The intent would be to be able to come and play at areas that don't have as much access to music, and also to touch to reach out to communities that don't have as much musical access as well, and kids that might not have as much musical access, and get the musicians to be able to talk to kids about kind of what the process is to be a professional musician, and what that process is to pursue music as a life. And so we're kind of in the process of developing that. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, I'd love a plug for my show.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. What do you want me to do? I'll do it.
Just state your name and that you're the lead singer of the Outrageous8, and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
You got it. Okay, ready?
Go for it.
Action. Hey, everybody. I'm Angela O'Neill. I'm the singer from Angela O'Neill and Outrageous 8, and also the producer of our record, which is called Light at the End of the Tunnel. That record is dropping this coming weekend, Saturday, May 21st. We're really thrilled to be here with Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. So stay tuned because Greg has all kinds of good stuff all the time on Python's Paradise. Thanks for having us, Greg. Have a great day, everybody.
Absolutely. God bless you. And I'll get this out to you as soon as I can. And feel free to post it. And like I said, post your stuff on my Facebook page. You'll get no
I'll
complaint
do
from
it.
me.
I'll do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Thanks so much for thinking to come back on.
Okay, we'll see you soon, Greg. Appreciate you.
All right. God bless.
Bye, honey. God
Bye
bless.
bye.